Actual Practice Test 2. Listen to a conversation between a student and a professor. You wanted to see me, Professor Park?
Yes, Mario. Come in and have a seat. I wanted to talk to you about your final report.
Oh, I hope it was okay.
It was more than okay, Mario. I honestly think it may have been the best report I've read this semester. You did a terrific job with it.
Oh, thank you.
In fact, the reason I wanted to talk to you was that I think the material you cover in your paper would make an excellent presentation at the upcoming teaching seminar the Education Department is hosting on campus. Your paper, what was its exact title again?
How to Increase Students' Intrinsic Motivation in the Classroom.
That's it. The topic is a perfect fit with one of the sessions I plan on attending. How about giving a presentation on your paper there?
Can I?
Yes, you can make it as a student speaker.
Oh, I'm really honored that you'd ask me, but this is sort of unexpected. I'm not sure I could do it well enough. Is it okay if I take a little time to think it over?
Sure. The choice is yours, Mario. I will say, however, that this is a tremendous opportunity. You'll meet a lot of influential people in the education field, and it will look great on your resume.
Well, considering what you said, I guess it would be a good experience.
No doubt. If necessary, I'd be willing to help you.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Now I need to refine my report for the presentation.
Good. I'll write down the website of the conference. If you're online, look it over. You can see which other papers will be presented, and it should give you a better idea of what it's all about.
Thank you for your help.
No problem. Anyway, can I ask what your plans are after graduation?
Well, I've got another whole year before I graduate, but I'd really like to teach. Maybe at a high school at first, but eventually at the college level.
Excellent. Have you given any thought to attending a graduate school right away?
I've thought about it a little, but, well, I'm still not sure.
Okay, I was just curious about your plans. I think you have a very promising future in the field of education.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Professor Park. So I guess I can prepare the material for the presentation this weekend. Could you look it over?
Of course. Let me see. Why don't you come back next Monday at, 2 p.m.?
I only have one class on Monday. It's in the morning, so that's fine.
Great. See you then.
Number 1.
Why did the professor want to talk to the student?
Number 2.
What is the student's first response to the professor's request?
Number 3.
Why does the professor give the student the website address of the conference?
Number 4.
How does the professor feel about the student? Listen again to part of the conversation. Then answer the question. Oh, I'm really honored that you'd ask me, but this is sort of unexpected. I'm not sure I could do it well enough. Is it okay if I take a little time to think it over?
Sure. The choice is yours, Mario. I will say, however, that this is a tremendous opportunity.
Number 5.
Why does the professor say this?
I will say, however, that this is a tremendous opportunity.
Listen to part of a lecture in a psychology class. Along with food, air, and water, a basic requirement of all humans is sleep. How long do you sleep on average? About 8 hours? 7 hours? Well, in my case, 6 hours. And I'm pretty sure some of you are early birds and others are not. Now, as you can see, how much sleep we need is different from person to person. However, there's a certain, basic similarity in our sleep patterns that we all share. When we sleep, we progress through a cycle of stages, with 5 stages in total. So, can anybody identify any of these stages?
REM is one of the stages, isn't it?
Yes, it is. REM is the 5th and final stage of sleep. Do you happen to know what the acronym REM stands for?
Actually, I don't.
REM stands for rapid eye movement, named for the way our eyes react when we dream. Then what about the other 4 stages? They don't involve this kind of movement. And you probably inferred this, but the first 4 stages of sleep are known as non-REM sleep. Let's briefly run through the 5 stages of sleep. Stage 1. This is the very beginning of sleep, the period when you're half awake and half asleep. As you begin to relinquish control of your muscles, you might feel your whole body suddenly contract for no apparent reason. Although your body has begun to sleep, you remain partially aware of your environment. The next stage, stage 2, is a period of light sleep. Your body relaxes and your brain waves and heartbeat slow down as you begin to drift toward deep sleep. Okay? Is everybody still with me? Good. From here, we move to the third stage, when you make the transition from light to deep sleep. Your brain begins to produce slow waves known as delta waves, and your eyes and muscles stop moving. Actually, both the third and fourth stages represent deep sleep, the difference being that stage 4 sleep is deeper than stage 3 sleep, as it is the final stage of non-REM sleep. Finally, the fifth stage is REM sleep. The REM, or rapid eye movement stage, is when, it's when a change in physiological state really begins to kick in. During this period, dreaming occurs. Because of this, brain activity increases dramatically, as does eye movement. Also, your heart rate and breathing speed up. Although your body is basically paralyzed at this point, your hands and feet may begin to twitch. Now, healthy sleep generally occurs in cycles, moving forward through the first 4 stages, then back through stages 3 and 2, before slipping into the REM stage. Non-REM stages tend to last about 5 to 15 minutes each, while we get about an hour and a half to 2 hours of REM sleep per night. These cycles are altered as we grow older, with a decrease in the length of stages 3 and 4 where deep sleep occurs. They can also be disrupted by factors such as stress or depression. But if your body is allowed to go through the cycles uninterrupted, you'll generally wake up feeling rested and refreshed.
Number 6.
What is the lecture mainly about?
Number 7.
How does the professor introduce the sleep stages?
Number 8.
What does the professor say about non-REM sleep?
Number 9.
Which of the following does not occur during REM sleep? Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question. REM stands for rapid eye movement, named for the way our eyes react when we dream. Then what about the other 4 stages? They don't involve this kind of movement. And you probably inferred this, but the first 4 stages of sleep are known as non-REM sleep.
Number 10.
What does the professor mean when he says this? And you probably inferred this, but the first 4 stages of sleep are known as non-REM sleep.
Number 11.
What does the professor imply when he says this? But if your body is allowed to go through the cycles uninterrupted, you'll generally wake up feeling rested and refreshed. Listen to part of a lecture in a history class.
The Mayan civilization spanned southern Mexico and northern Central America. So, what is today Guatemala, Belize, western Honduras, and El Salvador, as well as some of the southern states of Mexico, that was the region of the Mayan people. So we're talking pre-Columbian times, right? Now, often when we imagine the Americas before Christopher Columbus arrived, we think of tribal peoples living a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. That was common in North America. But the Mayans were very different. They had a large population, they stayed in one place, and most importantly, were quite advanced. For starters, they were excellent mathematicians. They had the concept of zero by as early as 36 BC. Over in Europe, they didn't understand nothing as a number for another 1,000-odd years. And the Mayans developed a numerical system and used a base 20 number system. It incorporated 3 glyphs, a dot for 1, a bar for 5, and 0 was represented by a shell. By simply changing the arrangement of the symbols, they were able to create larger numbers, reaching the hundreds and millions, and perform complex mathematical operations. Math was a stepping stone to achievements in other fields. The Mayans used the mathematical system to develop astronomical knowledge. They were especially interested in observing the complex motions of the sun, the stars, and the planets. From these observations, they created a 365-day calendar. The accuracy of their calendar was almost flawless, so neighboring nations, such as the Aztecs, adopted its mechanics. Now remember, this was before any telescopes. That's pretty impressive. Next, advanced astronomy was applied to architectural constructions. Mayan architecture is famous and valued not only for its beauty, but also for being astronomical markers. For example, the fantastic stepped pyramids were built basically for religious purposes. But they were also used as a calendar. Just like the number of days in a year, there were a total of 365 steps, with one platform atop 4 stairways, each containing 91 steps. This is not all. Actually, Mayan cities ended up being monumental records of the planetary movements through the skies. The orientation of the buildings coincided with the movements of the sun and actually functioned as a calendar. How? By building structures in that way, the shadow they cast would give people an idea of how far they were from the solstices and equinoxes. Last, but certainly not least, they had a writing system. In fact, they were the only ones in the Americas to have a fully developed writing system in the pre-Columbian era. As far as we know, anyway. They began writing over 2,300 years ago, and their writing system consisted of symbols that are known to completely represent the spoken language of its community. Arranged to depict human shapes and forms, the symbols also included a few abstract figures. The Mayans wrote using individual signs or glyphs, paired in columns that read together from left to right and top to bottom, just as we do today. So anyway, it's been pretty much deciphered, and we can see that the ancient Mayans used this writing system to keep records of all kinds of things: dates, history, and of course, observations of the sky.
Number 12.
What aspect of Mayan civilization does the professor mainly discuss?
Number 13.
How does the professor introduce the Mayan civilization?
Number 14.
According to the professor, what was the mathematical advancement of the Mayan civilization? Click on 2 answers.
Number 15.
Which of the following is mentioned as a special function of Mayan constructions?
Number 16.
What does the professor say about the Mayan writing system? Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question.
Actually, Mayan cities ended up being monumental records of the planetary movements through the skies. The orientation of the buildings coincided with the movements of the sun and actually functioned as a calendar. How? By building structures in that way, the shadow they cast would give people an idea of how far they were from the solstices and equinoxes.
Number 17.
Why does the professor say this?
How?